President Biden may claim he didn't coin the term Bidenomics, but he sure has been leaning into it lately.
And all the talk about I'm a big spending Biden, I lowered the deficit. $1.7 trillion in the first 2 years. No one's ever done that. The last guy increased it by 40. Anyway, I won't go into that. Well, that's Bidenomics in action.
And whether he's creepily whispering or ineffectively shouting about the strength of economic policies, Americans don't appear to be buying his assurances. According to a new Reuters Ipsos poll, the economy remains the top concern for Americans. A new report in Fortune says many are cutting back on personal hygiene products like scouring shelves for cheaper toothpaste, and what they say is a troubling sign for the economy. Kevin, thank goodness we have a resident expert on the couch today. What do you make of this?
It's true. The problem with the policies so far and the multiple bills, including the CHIPS Act and, of course, the Anti-Inflation Act, whatever you want to call it, is just massive spending, but it's the target of where that spending went. Here's the problem. Most of it's going to the S&P 500 companies. They're important. They're big employers in America. However, they only represent 40% of the economy. What we haven't seen as the unintended consequence that's now we're seeing is that we're starving small business in America. We throw billions to Intel and nothing to a guy in Champaign-Urbana who's running a shop with 58 employees. His cost of capital, because of these rapid rate hikes, has gone through the moon. It went from maybe 6 or 7% now to 20%. He can't raise any capital because the regional banks have stopped lending to him as they wait to see what the new liquidity rules are. This is why I was on the Hill yesterday. I was banging the drum up and down the hall saying, everybody, let's wake up to what's happening to my small companies. I got 34 plus companies. They can't raise a dime. There's no Bidenomics for them. They have no capital, and that's a big problem, and it's manifesting itself. Those are the people that are looking for cheaper toothpaste and all the issues that are going around inflation. Core inflation is not down. CPI, yes, but core inflation, the real inflation that hurts a small individual that's trying to live off $58,000, they're getting killed. And this will show up in the polls. This will become political. But we've got to save small business right now. We have to do everything in our power to make sure they get access to capital. This is a problem that's only 6 to 8 weeks old. You talk to anybody running a small business with between 5 and 500 employees, they cannot raise any money. That's bad economic policy. And that's because Biden's focused only on the big guys.
Well, we have a family small business, and not only have we been choking for so many years under this administration because of the COVID policies and the regulations, but to your point now, we can't get any capital, and the capital means nothing anyway because the dollar is so much less of a value. Carly, on Friends this morning, you were covering extensively the fact that shoppers, when they go to the grocery store, they are facing double-digit increases on those basics that Americans all need every day: flour, bread, sugar, things that we cook and provide for our families with, and yet our whispering, gleefully chuckling president seems to ignore it.
And that's why campaigning on Bidenomics is such a risk, because not only are you telling people, don't believe what I'm feeling, believe what I'm telling you, it's also a risk because if we do go into a recession, it has a name, and it's Bidenomics. And Janet Yellen just said a few days ago that a recession isn't entirely off the table. But the White House is all in on this Bidenomics push. I just saw that they posted something on Instagram, and they're telling people to text them. They provide a number about how Bidenomics has affected them, and they showed a text that they say they received from a guy named Pat. He says, my neighbor just returned to Minnesota from Pennsylvania by car and said they saw nothing but bridges being built everywhere. Thank you, Mr. President. The comment section was not kind. I saw one person who said, I'll take a conversation that never happened for 200.
I think the likelihood, Kaylee, of someone texting, writing out Minnesota and Pennsylvania is about a million to one, I'd say. Yeah. And when Carly points out Yellen's performance and what she says, I mean, was this before or after she was bowing to the Chinese? Oof. I mean, the optics have been absolutely ridiculous this whole time, but that pales in comparison to the real hurt that American people are facing right now and feeling.
Yeah, I was reading a variety of estimates that the average American since Biden took over has been cost anywhere from $5,000 is the lowest estimate I've seen to $34,000 in inflation. That's real money. Think about you lost anywhere from $5,000 to $34,000. It's extraordinary. There was the bank rate survey last week that said 78% do not feel financially secure, but note of caution, The economy stupid has always been the phrasing of modern political era. Not anymore. The midterms, it was not the economy stupid. The economy is, if it was the economy, Republicans would have prevailed in a huge red wave. They did not.
I want to yield my time back to you because small businesses, as of even last year, were still hiring 60 to 70% of the workforce in America. And so it is troubling to think that post-pandemic, they are still suffering, and we're part of that suffering via our president.
It turned on the Silicon Valley Bank. It was the moment when I saw the change occur.
You mean when he paid for rich people not to fail?
But what the shockwave went through that people haven't seen the end of is every bank now, the 4,600 that remain, where most small businesses bank and do payroll on Wednesday night, have been told, hold up on loans because we have to see the effects of real estate going through your portfolio.
Wow.
Now. We've got a problem here, Houston. It's coming to a theater near you.
Kevin, we're so glad that you are here today. Hey, everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.